If you have a more eclectic, edgy sense of style, but you like to shop vintage, here are some tips that will help you keep your style more cohesive, even if you are shopping multiple different styles or decades. Yeah, let me sweet. I had to wait for him to find his nap spot. When you're buying vintage or antique pieces, especially when you're seeing it in the store, it can be hard to envision it. Like, how am I going to take this piece that's 50, 60, 70 years old, but make it edgy? You know, make it fit now, mix it with everything else I have in my space. First of all, you need to decide, what is your personal style? How do you know this? Let's go through a few questions, and I would recommend the easiest way that I like to do this is just in my notes app, and I will add photos in there, add little notes. Of course, Pinterest is a great place to do this. Make a mood board so you can kind of get a visual of what the look is you're going for, whether it's for your whole house or just for one room. What are the, I would say, like 3 to 5 colors that you want to stick with consistently throughout your house? Not saying it has to be only these colors that you ever use and you're forbidden from anything else, but I'm saying these are going to be like the big pieces. This is what maybe the walls would be painted, or if you have a painted piece of furniture that's larger, it'll probably be one of these colors, like the curtains. But maybe for, you know, accent pillows or a throw blanket or like a small vase, you'll experiment, have some fun with a different color. Get your fabrics and your patterns, things like that decided on. Do you want wallpaper? Do you just want to stick with paint? Do you want it to be dark or light? What do you want it to feel like? What are you going to be doing in that room? Is it your bedroom? Are you going to be sleeping in there? Is it the living room? Do you need it to feel a little bit, you know, brighter, more energizing? Do you entertain a lot? Are there any styles that you lean towards? Do you like, you know, dark academia, whimsy goth, cottage core, grandma core? I saw someone talking about grandpa core the other day. There's all these little, you know, like micro trend styles. When it comes to buying vintage furniture specifically, I think people are typically drawn to a certain decade. You know, mid-century modern, it's very popular. I feel like it has been for a long time. And it's a little more streamlined and simple. I feel like it's clean lines, I should say. I like to go up a couple more decades, and I usually am drawn to the darker wood furniture from the 70s. Now, it's a little, I always call it, it's a little like thicker and chunkier. I feel like it's like meatier furniture. It typically has a little more of an ornate design on the front of it. And I always find that the furniture from the 70s like this tends to have like thick, chunky brass hardware with a lot of detailing on it too. And I love the combo. I feel like you can go overboard sometimes, but typically I'm like, more is more. I like it. And I feel like that 70s furniture and all of that detailing and stuff, it gives me an edgier gothic feel, especially when I pair it with a darker background. One of the most important things I think when you're designing your space is to make it personal to you. When I walk into a space, I don't care if it's my style or not. I like to be able to feel that person. You get a sense of who they are, what they like, maybe even, you know, what some of their hobbies are. Decide which parts of your personality you want to bring out into your space. You know, are you into photography? So maybe you want to take some photos, get those printed and frame them. That way it's, you know, a piece of you, and you don't have to consider yourself an artist or something. It's just cool to have something you made or something you did representing you up on the wall. If you paint or your kids paint, put it in a nice vintage frame. If you're into music, you know, you could buy old instruments. Into sports, you could find old sports equipment. Sticking to this plan, you know, your colors, your textures, fabrics, patterns, materials, hobbies, this is going to make sure that no matter what style you're buying from, it will feel pulled together. It makes your decision-making process a lot quicker, and that way you're not always second-guessing yourself. How do you make vintage decor edgy? I want to decorate the room. I want the room to be beautiful. I want it to look elevated and put together. Everything look like it, you know, flows and matches. Then I want a little edge in there, you know? Then I want something like a little weird. Something needs to be a little off. This has to come back to you and your personal preferences. Like, what do you consider edgy? What do you like that gives it that little edge, that's something different? It doesn't always have to be dark colors and skulls. I love that stuff, but I don't need that in every single room of the house. I find other ways to do it. We in our house are both really drawn to nautical decor, not beachy nautical. I prefer to have everything feel like more pirate nautical, and to me that makes it feel a little edgier. One good example of this is in our living room. We have this beautiful vintage record player, these gorgeous green like high back chairs. I keep a lot of coffee table books in there. That's where we go. We listen to our records. We just like to relax, and everything, it was very pretty, but I wanted something a little off. I needed something a little weird. It needed to match and flow with the room. But once you really looked at it, I wanted it to be something different, something that you wouldn't expect walking into this room typically. So I bought this huge, once we framed it, I think it's like a little over 6 foot tall, up above the record player, but it's this huge 6 foot tall picture of a ship getting attacked by a kraken. And I just feel like it's just different. It just added that edge that I felt like the room needed to make it a little funky, a little different. How you style an item will make a difference in whether it looks edgy or it looks cutesy or it looks whimsical. The biggest thing that matters is, what you surround it with. As far as when to buy new versus old, there are certain things that I just prefer vintage. One of them for me is just going to be light fixtures, whether it's a lamp. I got this for $2.50. Like, that's crazy to me. And it's beautiful. You should see the detail on this thing. When I got this home, it was dirty. This was a diamond in the rough. So trust me, I put some elbow grease to get this thing to shine again. And it's stunning. I could never walk through Walmart or Target or something and find a lamp that looks like this. But something I always buy new is pillows, blankets, curtains, and it doesn't have to be. That just seems to be what I'm drawn to. I feel like we've covered a lot, but I have one last really important thing to go over, and it is, what do you need to avoid? The first thing I would say is avoid rushing it. You don't need to rush to decorate your space. You don't even need to rush to decide what your personal style is. I feel like this should develop over time. As you grow and you change, your style will grow and change. If you're wanting to incorporate a lot of vintage pieces, you just can't rush that, because you don't know when you're going to come across the right thing. And you could go online and you could probably find some stuff and pay astronomical prices for it, but you're always going to get the best deal. And it feels special too. I feel like there's these memories that it holds when you come across it in person. Like, you were meant to find each other on that day in that little dusty thrift shop. You get to bring it home, clean it up, polish it, repaint it, or whatever you do to it. And you get to make it, unique. You get to make it your own. Plus, I feel like when you buy vintage, the whole process is just more relaxing. It's a little more special. And it just lasts longer. Things are made different now. The design is different. I feel like there's less detail in a lot of items now. And that detail is something that I feel like gives character. It gives some of that edginess, some of that whimsy that people are looking for when they're building a more eclectic, cozy, comfortable space. Like buying all new stuff and just hopping from trend to trend to trend. To me, it feels like going out clubbing on, a Saturday night, and it's just like chaotic and loud. And not saying it couldn't be fun every once in a while, to hop on a trend or two, but it's not something you want all the time. And I feel like buying vintage or just decorating your place slowly over time and, really like living in the space before you make these big decisions on what you want in there, that's like a slow Sunday morning. You put a record on, you make some waffles. It's just like, feels like peaceful and romantic. Like you're overall, even when you're shopping for the decorations, the energy you're bringing into the space is just calmer and more peaceful. Once you have your core personal style, the trends don't rattle you. I don't care who thinks what I have is in style or out of style. I like it. And that's all that matters. So nail down your personal style, make yourself a color collage or a mood board, something that you can kind of reference while you're out shopping. Don't forget to add a little edge in there. Even if it's a new piece, that's a good way to incorporate the new versus old. Like I've got my little skull blanket over here. Look at things or watch things and pick it apart. Decide what you don't like about a space so that way you can avoid it in your own space. I hope this helps. I hope it will make it a little bit easier to lay out your personal style, feel a little bit more confident when you're going shopping, whether you're thrifting or antiquing, or even if you're buying new, so you can pull together a room that feels eclectic, edgy, and most importantly, it feels like you. Let me know in the comments what your favorite styles are or your favorite thrifting tricks are. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this and found something helpful. It was so good and slept pretty much the whole time. Just him and his little stuffed animals. Look how cute he is. I'll see you in the next video.